Hello, and welcome to the 7 o'clock news. My name is Nola King, and I'm Rita Deflo. Tonight we'll be discussing a very special topic. It's exciting. Someone's birthday. George Valdez. Now, who is this person? It's a very good question. George Valdez, well, his parents were from Germany. He moved here, and this is where he was born. When he was 9, he became deaf. Now, what did he do? He went to the Maryland school, where he graduated. He went to Gallaudet University. He studied, he graduated, he was a top student there, and he lived his life through what was called the Dark Ages in deaf history. He was active there, and what he did was very specific. Now, let's talk about what he did. Now, the Dark Ages were awful in deaf history. In Milan in 1880, there was a school about 145 people. Now, there were two deaf organizations, two deaf groups. So the first was the lecture oral, and they taught oral education, and they thought that oral was better. They'd help development there. They would be able to talk and match the hearing people out in the world. The other group was 3 people. They supported sign education. They thought they would develop and be successful there. People saw, they voted, and they decided that oral was the best method, and that's what spread in the deaf schools. The teachers taught this method. They taught talking, and they were students were dismissive. They kept teaching this, and they thought that was the only way. The deaf began to feel oppressed, and their culture suffered in many different ways, and they felt this oppression going forward. That's an interesting picture that was just awful. Now, when George Valdez graduated, he went to the Maryland school, which he set up, the deaf school there, and he worked at the Colorado school. Then he moved, continued teaching, set up different agencies, including the Colorado school. Then he also became the president of the NAD. He was elected twice. He was a really good leader. Yes, he was a fantastic leader. You know, he really supported deaf rights. He set up a program, and he cherished the sign language. He made videotapes where he would put the language down, and that was how he preserved the language going forward. His topics were where he cherished the language, and he felt like deaf people had given the language, or that God had given the deaf people the language. Okay. All right. I think it was 6. Wow, that's so interesting to look back and see the signs that were so different. We have some videos today to watch that would be interesting. Hello, everyone. In France, the deaf people are going to feed you a little rabbit stomach. Okay. It's the birthday of someone very important, which we were going to go pay our respects at a banquet. They're going to the grave site of a town at Versailles. Going to get flowers, place a bouquet at the grave, pay their respects. For a very important teacher. And they all agree that they cherish the language and the invention of these beautiful signs. In 1933, up until now, the deaf in France felt very dismayed. They would cry. The Deaf Institute, because there was no sign language. They took away their sign language, and they asked their teacher, they begged him, can we please have the sign back for our class? No. Well, there's a leader, and in his group they're signing. Well, I don't know. I don't think that we should. Well, in Germany, and it was the same in France, they look at each other and they look at America, and they were very jealous they could use signs. And in here they couldn't. They wanted the same big picture. And their parents, they would ask, please, please. And in France and Germany, please, that we want a sign. America's free. They can do what they want. And in France and Germany, they looked at America as higher than them, and they were happy. They were successful. They could sign. And they looked at themselves as lower because they were dismissed. And then all of a sudden, this oral method came and spread here in America. And they're like, no, this is wrong. There's only talking allowed now. Now, America and France and Germany all were talking, and it was the worst. Then their signing really became messed up because they were dismissed at schools, at churches, in different groups, and their signing skills became worse. And they remembered what their signing skills were good. Peats, drills, eels, ballards. They all loved signing, and it was very clear. They were all lucky, they were skilled.